Hello everyone, I'm back with another video and look who's here! It's the cat of the hour! It's the cat with the power! It's RJ! Live and in color. And he's gonna make me pay for this. But I hope everyone's doing well. It's been a few days. I'm finally gonna be on vacation next week. So I am officially at home from tonight until what is it? Probably the 4th of the new year. And I only have one more day of work. That's tomorrow, and then I'm on vacation till the new year. So with Christmas coming up, as I've said about other holidays or in other videos, I'm not a big holiday person, but I know a lot of people are. So if Christmas is your thing, if New Year's is your thing, I certainly hope it is a happy time for you. And who knows what 2022 is going to bring, but let's hope for the best. I guess it's one of those things where it's like, you prep for the worst or for the unknown as much as one can, and you hope for the best, right? But I'm making this video because a thought came to me, right? And I wanted to share it before it flees. So there's been some, I'm not going to call it drama, right? But for those who may not know, the Punisher recently got a new logo, right? He got this stylized Japanese logo, right? Looks more like something on a samurai's helmet or those oni masks, those demon masks they used to wear, right? And apparently, I don't follow Punisher too closely. I never have. He's never been my type of hero. I mean, I like my anti-heroes. I like Wolverine. He's my favorite. But Punisher's always been a bit too far for me. He's always been more of a villain protagonist in my mind than necessarily an anti-hero. But plus, I know that people like their revenge fantasies, and I generally tend to not like those characters. I mean, Batman's kind of an exception, right? Because he is, I am vengeance, I am the knight, and all that. But I've just never been able to get into Punisher. So it's always been like Death Wish, the comic, and I've never been a fan of the Death Wish films. So Punisher doesn't really speak to me. But uh, the logo has been changed recently, and for some reason, uh, Frank Castle, the Punisher, now gets to be the head of the Hand, which is like Japanese ninja clan, Foot Clan type of thing, right? So a white man gets to be the head of a Japanese ninja clan, or when he's never been the head of the Hand. And to my knowledge, he doesn't know how to fight with katanas. His thing has always been more guns, military style weapons because he was a Marine, not necessarily, ancient fighting styles like ninjutsu. But okay. But keep in mind, they recently took the Iron Fist mantle off of Danny Rand and put it on an Asian person because Asian. But anyway, the point of this video is not to rant about that, although I do find it to be a bit of a hypocrisy, but rather because of first the drama over the change, right? I don't think it's a bad logo per se. Like if they had like a Asian guy, like a Japanese guy or whatever, who like styled himself after the Punisher, and he made this logo, right? I could see that, right? But more or less, from what I've seen, comics Twitter isn't having it. They're not happy with this change, right? But I'm making this video because of this particular question, which I did respond to in a quote tweet, but I thought I would take this time to sort of expand upon my thoughts, right? So the Wednesday pull list asks, I think the real question that no one is asking is, why does the Punisher need a logo, right? And I look at it like this. There are two ways you can approach this. There's the real world capitalist business things you have to worry about, like branding, marketing, things like that. But I think that we should look more at the symbolic nature of it all, right? The more philosophical nature. And I think this also ties in well, the more I think about it, into why people, myself included, get so up in arms and are generally very negative and very against mantle changes, right? Which has been a common thing. I mean, mantle's always been moved around in comics, to be fair, if you go back long enough, right? But in the recent years, right, especially with the culture war and all that, right, there's sort of this hyper focus on who who gets moved into a mantle, right? Who the mantle moves to, what are the motivations, creative decisions leading to this? Are those decisions woke or not? Does it make sense or not? That type of thing, right? So the Wednesday pull list asks, why does Punisher need a logo? Punisher needs a logo because the logo is symbolic. It represents something. It stands for something, right? People look at it, whether it be people in story or people in real life, and they know that he represents, right, street justice. He represents revenge on criminals, right? Or you compare it to, say, Spider-Man. Not. Well, you could use Spider-Man, but what I mean is Superman, right? The S on the chest, right? That has been said in many media to represent hope, right? It's literally a symbol of hope. Same thing with Batman, right? The bat symbol, right? Literal bat signal, right? Being representative of hope, right? Of help is on the way, right? And the more I think about this, the more I think I have a maybe expanded understanding of why mantles and the characters they're associated with are so important, and why moving them is such a difficult thing, and it's such a difficult thing to do without generating controversy and pushback. And I think it's because if you think about it in story, in context, a lot of these mantles originally exist because they are an expression of one person's pain, or they're trying to do something in the world. Take, for example, Superman, right? Superman, right? The heroic persona, right? Superman is the heroic persona of Clark Kent. It is how Clark Kent does good in the world, right? There's also his reporting, but that's his professional job, right? But as Superman, he is able to have a larger impact on the world directly, right? He can go and rescue people. He can go and fight bad guys. He can go and, fight, characters like Darkseid or General Zod or all these different, cosmic entities that he really can't tackle as mild-mannered country boy reporter Clark Kent, right? Superman is how Clark does good in the world, right? That's how he helps in a very direct way. Or you take Batman, right? Batman, right, is Bruce Wayne's personal war against crime, right? Batman does not exist without uh, Bruce specifically, right, going through the trauma that convinced him that he needed to do this, right? Losing his parents, watching his parents be shot, being left alone, right? That is specifically his trauma. Batman, the label, the look, the mantle, whatever you want to call it, right? All the gadgets, the Batcave, they all exist literally because of Bruce Wayne, because of his pain, because of his trauma. If you want to talk about the very practical elements of it, right? Because of his money, right? He pays for the cave, he pays for the um, uh, electronics, the suit, the research, right? All of that stuff. It comes from him. He literally funds this, right? Batman is his personal war against crime in Gotham City, right? And or you go to Marvel and you look at things like, say, Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man is Peter Parker's personal war against crime, right? It originally started out as like a wrestling costume, right? He wanted to be a pro wrestler. But after his bout of bystander syndrome ends up with Uncle Ben being killed, right? He decides that his purpose is different, right? Or the purpose of Spider-Man is different. right? Spider-Man is now going to go out and help people, right? Instead of just try to, gain fame for himself in what could be considered a selfish way. But still, Spider-Man exists because of what Peter Parker went through, because of Peter Parker's pain and trauma, not because of Ben Reilly or Miles Morales or anyone else, right? Or you look at a character like the Hulk, right? No other Hulk character could ever be Bruce Banner Hulk. Not even She-Hulk, not even Amadeus Cho Hulk, right? They all have a different experience with the Hulk form than he does, right? The Hulk form for Bruce Banner has always been an expression of his destructive anger and rage. The thing that I'm realizing more and more as this topic keeps coming up and keeps being debated is that the mantle, right? The name, the look, all of the visual stuff that we associate with a particular hero, with a particular persona, Batman, Superman, whatever, right? Punisher, right? They are intertwined, right? They are intrinsically intertwined with the origin of the of both the civilian character, right, the person in the costume, and the costume itself, right? It's very hard to separate the two, right? Which is why when if someone asks you, who is Batman, you're probably gonna say Bruce Wayne, right? So when you, in my opinion, right, even if you put all of the sort of drama around moving mantles aside, right, the motivations and what fans think and what creators think, when you put a mantle on a character who did not go through that trauma, right, it's kind of like giving them something that they didn't earn, right? Like that's the best way I can describe it, right? And again, there are instances where passing the mantle on can make sense, right? To sort of keep a name alive, right? That was, for example, in Batman Beyond, right? Bruce is too old, he's too physically beat up, right? He's burned every bridge with all of his other proteges over the years, right? You need someone to carry the Batman name on, right? And so Terry ends up being um, uh, that person, right? Or you have Miles as Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe, right? Peter Parker dies, and then he becomes Spider-Man to keep the legacy going, to keep Spider-Man alive. But the more I see this, the more I realize that trying to, in most instances, especially if it's perceived to be done just for the hell of it or just for diversity points, right? Having a person who is not white or straight or male in a costume, it's very difficult to separate the two because the superhero exists because of the civilian's pain, right? Miles Morales has gone through stuff, but he didn't go through what Peter Parker went through, right? Dick Grayson has gone through stuff, but he didn't go through what Bruce Wayne went through, right? John Kent's been through stuff, but he didn't go through what his dad went through, right? The meaning of what the superhero persona is, right? When you put it on someone who is not the originator, it can change, right? It can change. And generally speaking, people are not that receptive to change, especially if the changes are generally thought of to be ill-conceived creatively and are believed to be motivated more by external factors that ideally should not impact a comic than just controversial creative decisions, right? So to answer the question of why does Punisher need a logo, or in a broader sense, why does any hero need a logo? It's because a logo is a symbol, right? It's a quick visual identifier, right? This person represents something, In the case of Frank Castle, retributive. It's probably not how you say the word, right? But basically street justice, right? Any thug, any criminal, when they see him in that skull, right? They're gonna know, ah hell, Frank Castle's here. We're about to die. And the fact of the matter is that this new skull, right? This new skull, even though it's on the same guy, it doesn't have the same symbolism, right? This is not the skull he came up with when his family was tragically murdered, right? And like in time with anything else, this will eventually give way to Old Faithful. So all people got to do is just wait it out. Like anything else, these changes never last. They can seem like forever because we don't like these changes, so we want them gone as soon as possible. But they don't last forever. Sooner or later, they listen and they revert back to what the fans want. But anyway, that is my musing for whatever it is worth. I hope everyone's well. Hopefully, the world is still spinning once January 1st, 2022 passes. And anyway, I don't know how much video content I'll be doing over my vacation. I might do a lot, I might do a little. Depends on whatever else I'm doing. I plan to spend a lot of time resting. So until next vid, see y'all around. Have a good day or night wherever you are. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. And yeah, see you around.